Hello, I am Walker.
And I'm Crank.
Welcome back to the next episode of our podcast. And today, what have you been playing, Hardwick?
Well, for the last week, I've been what have I been playing? I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead, as well as a few games on the Xbox One, because they had a lovely deal where you can get 3 months live and Game Pass for £1. So I've been trying some new games. We've been playing a bit of Sea of Thieves, as I'm sure you know.
Yep, and I've been playing Hitman 3. I recently finished it.
Oh, very good, dude.
As well as I've been playing a bit of Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work my way through the first Doom, I am.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's difficult. It does get harder, though, when you get to Eternal. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I've heard it's a pretty gnarly game.
Oh, it's pretty gnarly. It sometimes you feel like it's not not be very fair at times, and you feel like, and you're on the verge of rage quitting, but no, you just keep trying.
That's fair, dude. So what have we got on the agenda this week?
So this week we're going to talk about a bit about the State of Play show where Sony showed off some of the new titles that are coming to PS5 as well as PS4. Just kind of a little update on the games coming out.
Yes, we'll be going through all the trailers and giving our initial thoughts and ideas of exactly, what ones are going to be the ones to look at and, just our generalizations and ideas about them.
Pretty much, yeah. The first one is obviously Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yes, now, this game is actually already out on the PlayStation 4, as I'm sure everybody knows, but now it's getting a PS5 port.
It is, yeah, and basically the trailer was just the developer was saying, "Oh, it's going to have just better features and possibly better." Can they do much with the graphics? I don't know. It already looks as good as it is.
I think they upped the frame rate, maybe, but I remember it moving pretty
Maybe
smooth.
the frame. Yeah, probably the frame rate. They're saying that they were good talking about the 3D audio as well.
Is it in 4K now as well?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing something like that, but I hear they're also going to be making it either a little bit more accessible to achieve the infamous 106%, or so, because I've heard it's a pretty damn hard game if you want to totally complete it.
Yeah, I've barely touched the Insane Trilogy. I'm still trying to do the first game. It's on my to-do list, though. I will probably work my way through 2, 3, and then eventually probably buy 4. We'll see. It says that it's also supposed to be native 4K and 60 frames.
Yes, like I say, it looks fantastic anyway, so I'm not 100% sure how much they could do. And of course, you got like the PlayStation 5 upgrades, such as the adaptive triggers, and also I think if you buy the PlayStation 4 version of this game, you get entitled to a free upgrade.
Oh yeah, that is a thing they're introducing with that. I
With,
know.
sorry,
I think they always introduce the free upgrade when they have the PS4 version. Then there's normally like a little kind of sticker on the front saying upgrade available.
yeah, I think it's a really nifty thing that they're doing with that because, well, the lineup wasn't exactly super stellar now, but hey, I guess it was better than the Expo lineup.
Oh yeah, definitely better because I didn't have any launch titles. So only just now we're starting to see it kind of surface from Sony. Nothing for Xbox though.
Nah, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. No.
It's going to be interesting to see how they play their cards when it comes to that. But yes, good start to the show. Like I say, Crash Bandicoot's always awesome, and I'm glad that Sony's kind of taken advantage of the upgrades that they actually have on the PlayStation 5 rather than just porting it straight over vanilla style, such as like the 3D enhanced audio headset required. That sounds interesting as well, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah.
And the next one is Returnal for PS5. PS5 exclusive.
Yes, now I don't know a lot about this. I saw a bit of the trailer and I got Prometheus vibes from it almost.
Yeah, I got a bit of kind of Dead Space, kind of Mass Effect vibe, I would say. But I mean, the combat does kind of look. Let's talk about the combat. So that looks kind of like, to me, when I first saw it, I thought it was like a bit like Mass Effect, third person. But now I'm seeing more of it in this new trailer. It looks kind of a bit like what Control did. I don't know if you played Control.
I did not.
That was by Remedy, who did Alan Wake.
Oh.
And there's I've just recently bought Control again, and it's again a third person action adventure, and a lot of like dashing, shooting, dashing. There seems to be a lot of that in Returnal.
Yeah, it definitely seems to
So
be that hectic gunplay where you got to keep moving or you're not going to make it.
yeah, kind of a bit like how Doom is.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
very interesting, especially with its art style as well. It seems very, like I say,
yeah,
Prometheus type style, very dark and gloomy. But
definitely. Yeah,
it doesn't seem faded. That's all right.
they have explained with the somewhat the story of the plot, but it just like you crash land on this alien planet, and you have to kind of like find out what's going on.
A more serious take on Doom, almost.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's by the makers of Resogun. I never played that one, but I heard that was a mention. I don't know if it was. It must have been a launch title for PS4. I'm not sure though.
I've not actually even heard of Resogun.
Oh, and neither have I. Yeah,
But yes, it does
it
look
does look
somewhat.
very pretty game
Yeah,
and
it
very
looks
color.
pretty.
Mm,
I'm just worried that it looks slightly vanilla, if you know what I mean. I mean, we've seen these types of games before, and
mm.
it's not really showing anything that's like giving me a wow factor so far with this game. I mean, yeah, all right, it looks great, but a lot of the games on the PS5 right now that are getting announced look great. So I'm still waiting for them to see if they come out with anything that's actually going to be like, oh, you can do this in this game, but not really in any other game.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess we
I
just have to wait and see.
I wish it was cross-platform with PS4, but no, it doesn't appear to be.
Mm.
I guess this is the first kind of launch title for this year for PS5.
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm. I think this one's coming out in May or
Um,
something. Yeah,
I think there's a
yeah.
few games that are actually going to be dropping around about May. So
Oh, what do
it'll be
you
interesting to
can you
see.
remember what the others were? Or
No, I know.
yeah.
I think there's a speculation on Security Breach dropping in May and all this stuff, but I guess we're
Yeah,
gonna have to wait until because I don't think many of these games have actually got confirmed release dates yet. But
not
hey,
really. No, they're just in development with a 2021 release date. Well, just saying 2021.
yeah. All right. Well, what's the next game on our list, Walker?
Next game is Knockout City.
Ah, yes. Now this game
I
actually
think,
does look somewhat
it,
unique, actually.
yeah, it looks to be. I think it is an online game.
Yeah, it looks like
What?
basically deathmatch with dodgeballs. That's what it looks
Yeah,
like. Extreme dodgeball. Um. So yeah, I mean, it looks fairly fun. It doesn't look like there's a lot to it, to be honest, at this point.
not
Um.
really. You're just hitting your opponents with balls.
Yeah, I'm pretty much
Dodgeball.
I'm getting free to play vibes almost off it. With the art style
Yeah,
and because this is like the type of art style a lot of free to play games use and all that stuff. But
bit like how Fortnite is.
we love Fortnite. No, yeah, flaming. It looks. I mean, it looks like it'll be good for maybe a 20 minutes sprint, but I'm not.
I suppose.
I don't know. It doesn't. It. I mean, it looks pretty, I guess, and of course, like the gameplay looks like it'll be a good for a quick blast, but it doesn't look anything too special, if I'm being brutally honest. But then again, we
Nah,
still have to
nah.
wait and see. I mean, the game modes. I mean, it's you could pretty much tell what's going to go on. It might be like a 2v2 split teams or a deathmatch, a team deathmatch, just with dodgeballs. The level design looks okay, I guess. I mean, again, it doesn't look very special in anything that it's really showing. But then again,
Not really. No, no.
it could be maybe a little sleeper hit that pops up. It really depends on, I guess, the following that's going to come on. If it's a game that will last a few years, or if it's a game that will instantly kind of disappear into the night. But
I think EA might be publishing it. I'm not sure.
oh, good old EA, gotta love EA. Fuck's sake. Now, yeah, it's going to be
Uh,
interesting to see, but it definitely seems like it's appealing to teenagers, if I'm honest.
I think so. Yeah. And I think that it seems to be that they're going to say there's going to be like some kind of cross-play beta coming up for it.
Okay, so what is this going to be on PlayStation 4 as well as 5?
I'm guessing so because I mean at the end of the trailer it was announced. It just said there
No, I think
when they did
yeah,
it.
I'm pretty sure this is EA actually. I'm just looking at some of
Mm.
the information now. Yeah, it's an EA. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what microcurrencies and transactions they have uh, to destroy this game's community, I guess. Oh no, we'll see. So what's up next, Walker?
Next one is Sifu. I hope I got that right. Probably didn't.
Yes,
Or Shifu.
yes.
Yeah, it looks to be kind of like a martial arts fighting game for PS4 and PS5.
Yeah, I do like my martial art fighting games. I'm looking forward to seeing how
Yeah.
this one comes out. I mean, the art style is a little different because usually they go with the ultra realistic type look. But
Yeah, this looks somewhat cartoony in terms of the textures of the character models.
yes, it definitely like it. I'm not seeing a lot of blood either, even though they're throwing machetes and hitting
Nah.
each other with that. But yeah,
Would you say that's kind of kind of arcadey or
it does look a little arcadey, yeah. But yeah, this game looks all right. Like I say, I do love my kung fu fighting games, even if they are a little bit button mashy. But it's always so stylish. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one pads out. It looks very artsy, and it seems like it's clearly got some deep storyline going on with it. So yes, it's going to
yeah,
be quite interesting to see.
definitely looks yeah, it definitely looks kind of like it's a single player experience, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see that. Not much to see on that one because it was a short trailer.
Yeah, so it's going to be a wait and see how that pads out. So let's move on. The next game is Solar Ash. And Walker, have you heard
Solar
anything on
Ash.
this?
Not really, but I think we did see something when they did the PS5 showcase last year,
All right.
and it looks to be I think it's the third person sort of adventure game,
It does look
and
very trippy with its type of art style and everything that it's got
ve-
going on.
very trippy. There's a black hole or something like that. This the main character's going into, so I'm guessing there's some kind of a world that you go into through a black hole.
Yeah, when I first saw this, actually, because I like started watching halfway through the trailer, and the minute I saw it, I just thought, is this like because obviously you can tell when the character's moving, obviously, but the colors and art style instantly brought like No Man's Sky vibes or something to mind, and I don't know
Yeah,
why, but
definitely.
it's clearly not that.
I was getting more of like a journey kind of I don't know inside look to it. I remember playing Inside
Inside,
or
oh my god,
well that was I think that was a third party. No, what do they call games where it's like indie game? That's what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this looks kind of indie.
It does look indie. Is the studio a known studio?
No, I haven't heard of them before. They do have a name,
Yes, hang on. I must
and
look up the names because we
the
are not
names
as informed as so and so.
Heart Machine.
Well done, Walker. Well done, because I couldn't find it.
Yeah,
Heart Machine. No, I have not heard of that studio before. So, yeah, I think this is like a first game for them, maybe, or either that or it's an indie title. But
I'm guessing so. Yeah,
it looks relatively interesting. Like I say, it's definitely again with the fast-paced gameplay. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it looks
Looks
very pretty, and it looks like it's definitely got a unique feel about it. So this might be
yeah,
one to
definitely. Yeah,
watch.
it looks kind of like it's a game you could explore in as well as like probably a platform as well.
Hmm.
Because it looks like you
Yeah,
can skate across the landscapes and
I
kind of fly through the air.
I also noticed that it's kind of got like huge monsters you got to beat as well. Of course, with that giant snake in the trailer.
Mm, yeah.
So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this one pans out, because it's definitely got an alien world type vibe going on about it. But I'm trying to think. It
Yeah.
reminds me of what was that? Because the way she's grinding on everything reminds me of what was that launch game for the Xbone? Sunset Overdrive.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
got definitely a mechanic somewhat about that, but it definitely has
I
a
ha
different type of attitude about
I
it.
I do own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah,
I
neither
want
have
to though.
I. Neither have I. But yes, it's got also like a jet set radio type vibe with the way she's skating all over the place. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a fairly unique game, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all comes out. That's basically going to be the sum up of a lot of the games we've seen, because we don't know a lot of information of these games in the background that have just
No,
popped up in this showcase, because a lot of them are first timers. So it's just speculations like could be interesting, but we shall see. So
yeah,
there is
we
that.
should see. Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of they were just like small snippets of what's to come. Some people would call them deep dives, but it's not really a deep dive.
Yes, there's nothing deep about this.
No,
All right then. So, what's the next game, Walker?
we have Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Okay, well, now this is a game we both actually know something about, so we might actually be
Oh,
able to speculate on this trailer.
oh
So,
yes.
I'll let you start, Walker. What are your thoughts?
I am very much, yeah, I'm very intrigued by it. I've only played the first Five Nights at Freddy's. Uh, this one, yeah, there's something different about this one. It's not so much, a bit like the other ones. Now that we've actually seen some gameplay in this showcase, it looks like you can actually move you around a bit more comparing to the old ones. I don't know, you couldn't exactly free to explore, could you? It's like a fixed camera.
Yes, now I'm. This is very different from the other FNAF games, and I'm guessing Alien Isolation vibes from the gameplay we are seeing in this trailer.
Yeah, I'm guessing that too.
Yeah, so I'm looking very forward to seeing how this one comes out. It's been, well, I'm sure if anyone's seen the FNAF community, they probably know that this game's been wanted since, well, the first announcement trailer and the teaser images and so and so. But I gotta say,
Oh yeah, with
I do like how they've actually gone about this trailer with all the animatronics rising up in the shadows. It looks very heavy metal. Looks very,
mm.
yeah, I dig that. But
And
the big
there also seems to
question.
be some new characters. Yeah, you were saying, sorry.
No, go on. New characters. I'll get
Yeah,
back to what I'm saying.
yeah, there was some new. Looks like there's some new characters revealed in the trailer too that we haven't seen before. Obviously, there's Freddy, but
Yes, I
it,
think it's Freddy, Chica, the two returning characters with new looks and all that stuff, and then you've got Roxanne Wolf and Monty. I think it's Monty Crocodile. I'm not 100% sure, but
right.
it's going to be interesting to see how they actually make this more of a horror than a thriller, because from what I've seen so far, there's nothing that outright comes out as creepy so much in it. Maybe it's because we've had so many FNAF games up to this point. And that maybe
Yeah,
the franchises. To be fair, this is what this franchise did need to kind of avoid franchise fatigue, because there's
yeah.
what is it? I think there's about 8 FNAF games up to this point, or this is number 8. There's a lot, and
Well,
pretty
yeah,
much all of them are the same. So this is clearly one that's, for one, got a much bigger budget, and
yeah. Looks to be, and I'm glad that it's also coming on PS4 as well as five.
yes, I'm looking forward to that. Although they apparently is it yeah, they I think they used the PS5 version as an actual showcase for their new ray tracing technology on the PlayStation 5.
I think they did, yeah, just to show off like the light effects and that
Mm.
lighting and
It does
re-
look very colorful and very vibrant and very clear. I'll give it that.
yeah, not it's not like the old ones where it was kind of dark and gloomy. It's got more of a color to it.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting though, because like I say, I reckon this will be more of a thriller, like a paranoia agent than actually scary. But then again, we haven't seen much more than this trailer yet for any of the gameplay. But like I say, it's a little it's such a departure in a way,
I
compared
know,
with like the
yeah.
other games and all this stuff. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see if this, because you got to remember it's also a totally different gameplay style now, really, to what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, now you can actually move around and
So
possibly interact with stuff as well.
I think the fans are going to love it, um, any which way,
Mm.
because there's been so much like hype around this in the FNAF community so far. There's been fan videos, there's been speculations on. There's this guy that I've seen on YouTube that actually keeps making title screens, and he's made about 8 of them now. And the game's not even
Oh,
out. He's just coming up with his own fan-made title screens, and they look pretty awesome.
yeah,
So
I have seen one. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah, it's
Freddy is not. He's not really. Well, I don't think you've really seen much in the trailer. You see like the.
oh
Is it a
yes.
statue? Is like a statue of him, or is that him? We don't know.
No, you do see him briefly in the trailer. Now with Freddy, this is where it gets very interesting here because they've done almost a Terminator thing with him. Because in the
Mm.
original announcement trailer, there's a voice, of course, saying to the child, Gregory, be still, I think she's found us. And a lot of people have
Mm.
immediately put dots together and said, that's Freddy, who is
Yeah.
usually the big baddie of the entire franchise. And you see every other animatronic chase you in this trailer except for Freddy. So now there's a lot of
Yeah.
speculation, and I don't think it's just speculation anymore. There's substantial evidence to actually support this theory that Freddy is actually now a good guy. He's done a Terminator on us.
Hmm.
So that's going to be really interesting to see. I was wondering at one point if it was going to be like all the animatronics are now good guys, and it's actually the new antagonist, Vanny, um, that's the big threat in the game. But as we can see, that's clearly not the case at this point. If anything, it's probably just going to be Freddy. A lot of people now are speculating whether you will play as either just Gregory or also the new Night Guard, who and they're reckoning that it might be switching from one gameplay, like you play as the Night Guard for a little bit, and then you switch to Gregory, and it becomes like more Alien Isolation Hideaway and stuff like that. And yes, I'm looking really forward to seeing how this game actually pads out. I think that the fandom support and all that stuff by the creator and all that stuff, um, he always kind of delivers. So if there's ever a series that I have faith that can totally change gameplay styles and get away with it, I think this might be one of them. So
Yeah, I think so as well.
I'm
I think
looking. No, go on.
as you were saying, yeah, I think Freddy might be somewhat helping you in the game. He might be giving you directions to avoid the other animatronics, but
Well, they
yeah,
did
maybe
have
he's.
the pop, the pop figurines that they do,
Oh yeah.
whatever the Funko Pops or whatever the hell they're called. They made a statue of Gregory sitting in Freddy's chess piece, hiding away, and Freddy's like looking worried, but up against the wall, and Banny's behind them with the knife and all this stuff. So, and
Oh,
that's an official release statue. So that's kind of the evidence that we've got right now that Freddy's definitely going to be turning
oh.
face.
Unless you, so you reckon that maybe Gregory is going to be inside of Freddy's suit then?
Well, it might be a scene in the game.
Oh, I was seeing right. Cool.
So, but then again, you've also got this. Again, back to the horror element. You've got this hand at the end of the trailer, and of course, the warning that there is much more wrong with Freddy Fazbear's Pizza than initially thought. So,
Yeah, that seems to be more of a sinister thing. It's just like a hand with a sharp claws or something.
yeah, it looks very much like the Nightmare animatronics from the fourth game. So,
Yeah,
it's going to be very
definitely.
interesting to see how this all goes. And of course, a lot of people are speculating that the main bad guy, Glitch Trap, is of course Springtrap, reincarnate, and has turned Vanny insane and is now basically puppeteering her to do all these horrible, nasty things. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all pads out and how the story actually all turns out. But yeah, I think they're doing the best thing that they could possibly do to avoid franchise fatigue and all the other stuff that comes with releasing like 8 games in how many years, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember when the first FNAF came out. I think it was 2016. I could be wrong.
Oh,
I could be totally wrong. So, what's that, like 5
might
years?
be older than that.
So,
yeah.
It's going to be real interesting. That's definitely one to watch, I would say. And yeah, I'm not just saying that because it's one I know about.
Do you think it'll be a physical release or a digital?
Oh, definitely. I think they'll definitely have a physical release, 100%. This game definitely looks like it's actually got much more of a budget behind it. They've now got an actual game studio behind it. I believe it's the same game studio that released the Five Nights at Freddy's VR game. What was it called? I can't remember. But basically, the last Five Nights at Freddy's was done by a studio. And again, I can't remember that either. I've got to do some research here. But they're back again at the helm for this new installment, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pads out. I'm looking up for the thing. Phil Time Walker, cover me.
So, you want me to look at the next topic?
Yes, I want to find this studio first. I want to find this studio that made the FNAF games now, because it used to just be Scott Cawthon, but now it is. As soon as I find it, it is. We know what we're doing, people. Don't believe the hype. Help Wanted. That was the game. Help Wanted was the last of the series.
Help Wanted, yeah.
So, well, it was published by Lion Gates Games, but I'm pretty sure it was Steel Wolf Studios. That's the guys. They're the guys. So they're back at the helm with this new one, I think. So they clearly know what they're doing at this point. And again, people are now questioning if it's going to have VR support down the line. It will not have VR support to begin with, but it's not out of the question. So again, that would be quite interesting. All right, then. Well, I think we've exhausted that. So let's move on to the next game.
And that's Oddworld Soulstorm.
Oddworld making its grand return. Well, sort of. They did remake the first game.
Only on PS5.
Only on PS5. An odd choice, considering I don't think it's really the most graphically intense game, but it looks pretty damn good.
Well, it started off as a side scroller. I mean, I don't know too much about Oddworld, but I do remember.
Yeah, it has always been a side scroller. I have played the first 2 games on the PlayStation 1 many years ago. I owned the other couple that came out on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, or was it just Xbox? I don't know. It's been years. But they past the PlayStation 1 games, I don't actually think any other games focused on Abe. So we never really got a true resolution, I think, to the story. But hey, about 20 years later, here we are, I guess. So I mean, what do you think on this, Walker? What do you think about Oddworld's new installment?
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I mean, I never really knew about it back in the day, but I heard people talk about it. It was quite. I suppose it's kind of a beloved franchise.
It definitely has a following. I know that much. I didn't think it did have this big a following. I mean, it was a game that I knew about, but I never really. I mean, my friend loved the first game, but I have sat down and played it. It's not bad, but it just never really hooked me so much. I mean, I don't know. Have you played any of them?
No, I think years ago I must have knew someone that must have played it, but on the PS2. Did they have one on the PS2?
I think they did, but it didn't. It wasn't the Oddworlds that you're looking at now. It wasn't like Abe's Odyssey. I know one of them was a third person shooter, and then there was another one that was a spin-off that had Abe in it, but it wasn't about Abe or something.
Maybe it was a spin-off then.
But this one looks to be doing a lot of things that are new to the Oddworld franchise. For example, in the original Oddworlds, combat is not really the main focus. A lot of it's like try, die, repeat, if you know what I mean. So a lot of puzzle elements and a lot of stealthy segments and stuff like that. In this one, it actually seems like Abe's had enough of everyone's shit and has gone postal. So he's gone full on Rambo style with the way he's trying to get out of
Yeah,
whatever
looks
hell
to be
he's in.
that. Graphics look good.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks like I say. I'm not sure why it's a PS5 only. This looks like it could quite easily be done on the PlayStation 4, but I mean,
Oh no. Sorry, yeah, I just realized that it is coming on also PS4 too.
oh, it is. Oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say it doesn't look
it's it was
worthy
just
of
at the
just being a
beginning.
PS5.
At the beginning, it just said PS5, and I was wondering, wait a minute, no, it can't be.
Yeah, it must just be PS5 footage that they're showing, which is fair enough, I guess. But
I think so, yeah, yeah,
with
and
the
that's coming.
yeah, go on.
Sorry, yeah, that's coming in April.
Oh, it's actually got a release date. Okay, that's more than some of
It
the other
has,
games
yeah,
we've seen.
6th of April.
Yeah, so with our world, it's always been the goal to try and save as many Mudokons as you possibly can. It looks like
Mm.
they're staying faithful to that in this new story. And I'm not sure if they're going to try and pad this out and make a couple of games, or if they genuinely just kind of want to finish the franchise at this point, because it's been a while. Um, but I'm glad to
Maybe they
see
want to
that.
try.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, maybe they want to try and finish it.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they are definitely resolving some of these older PlayStation 1 titles and stuff like that. That kind of never got a resolution back then. But out of all the games that I thought they might have brought back, Oddworld was, I mean, when they did the remake, sure, you can kind of predict it from there, but it wasn't one that I thought they would totally, yeah, that would be around in 2021. But hey ho, I mean, if it's got the following, more power to them. So yeah, looking forward to
Yeah,
that one. It looks quite interesting. All right.
yeah, absolutely. And the next one we have is Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I think it's Kena or Kenna.
Oh, can I be honest about this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like artsy pap. If I'm
Yeah,
being brutally honest, it looks like a bloody DreamWorks Pixar animation movie that's like super
yeah,
artsy and trying to be deep, but
it kind of does.
I don't know. I don't know, dude. This one just does not appeal to me, if I'm honest. I mean, it looks
Not really.
pretty. It looks like it should be a movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a movie, but I
No,
don't
yeah,
know.
it definitely looks. I was thinking it reminded me. Her face kind of reminded me of Dora the Explorer for some reason.
Dora the Explorer. Oh my god.
And they made a movie out of
Oh no, no, don't do that.
that. No.
Did they actually make a Dora the Explorer movie?
Yeah, they did. It was live action.
I know they made a parody where they like tried to pass it off as like Dora's all grown up now, and she was like killing people and stuff like that, and all this stuff. But yeah, I didn't know they genuinely made a Dora. I didn't know Dora the Explorer was that big, but I guess nostalgia. I guess if Postman Pat can get a movie, then I guess Dora's fair game. What next? Where's the
Why not?
Pingu movie? Where is the Pingu movie? I'll go watch that.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Oh my god! But yeah,
That used to be good back in the day.
what are your thoughts on this, Walker? Because I've told you mine. It doesn't. It looks like artsy, trying to be deep. Oh, hippie crap. If I'm honest,
Yeah, I
it
can't
doesn't
really
look
place
fun
it.
to me. To me, I
It
mean,
wouldn't
everyone's
really.
entitled to an opinion, but
It's not really. No, it wouldn't be the kind of game I'd play. It's not really. It looks a bit soft.
I'm trying to think of because the way she's controlling the little beings going around, I'm getting Overlord vibes. But like again, it looks beautiful, but
Oh yeah.
it looks like it hasn't really got any depth to it. It looks like it's a mishmash of all these different types of games that are just ticking off a quota. Like, okay, she's got to climb because Drake did that. It's got to look beautiful because this game did that. We got to have that art style because Zelda came out and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and also it looks like magic as well.
yeah, I mean, then again, this might be totally worth it. I mean, I guess I would have to see more and maybe get my hands on it to give it a go. But looking at this trailer, it's just like, yeah, I got better things to do. So,
Mm, definitely.
I mean, yeah, we'll see how it
Mm.
goes. I'm not even sure who made it. Um, Totally missed that
Something
trailer.
Lab. I can't remember, but it said at the beginning.
Something Lab. Was it Emberlab?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So again, a fairly new studio. I think I've not really heard of them before, but. By the way, this is actually what PlayStation should be doing, though. I will say that before we move on to the next trailer. I think PlayStation does need to put these new studios up and start getting new IPs out, because you'd need something that's got to be like, buy our new console, it's worth it because we have insert game here.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. At least they'll have something for everybody.
yeah, so I mean, like I say, that game doesn't particularly appeal to me, but for some people out there, they might be looking at that and thinking, "Oh, that looks the shit." So, yeah, I think PlayStation's making the right moves with this so far. But with that being said, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Next is Deathloop.
Now, this game was featured in the game Play Expo. What was it?
Yeah, the PlayStation
Yeah, that's
experience, or the
yeah. Now we've seen this before, and
we have, yeah.
what was that film that came out? Live, Die, Repeat with Tom Cruise or something?
Oh yeah, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of getting an idea that it's something a little like that, where it's going to be they give you a totally impossible task, and it will be a keep playing this until eventually you break the death loop, I guess.
Yeah, it's by them. Yeah, it's from Arcane Studios that did Dishonored and Prey.
Okay, so they have actually got some games under
History,
their belt.
yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm actually looking at the trailer again, it definitely gives me Dishonored vibes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, seems to be a bit of more of an upbeat kind of Dishonored.
Yeah,
I mean, I never played Dishonored.
yeah, I mean, I hear Dishonored was a good game actually, but again, I've only played it for about maybe 10 minutes. But this game looks somewhat interesting. It's definitely got that. It seems to be going with like a 1970s comic book retro type vibe for the cutscenes and stuff. But I mean, it looks like there's definitely some fun with the way that the physics works and all this stuff. And I mean, what do you think, Walker?
Yeah, it does look kind of cool. Especially like the not the graphics, but I mean the graphics do look good. But the kind of artistic kind of thing about it is kind of cool too. Gives that kind of you were saying comic book vibe.
Yeah, with the way that they're doing all the background cutscenes and the little arts that they got in the trailer and stuff like that, they definitely seem to have that. You know how the 70s is very brown, and of course they've got the style of like afros and all this stuff.
Brown and all that, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks funky, I guess. But I'm looking at some of the gameplay here, and it does look interesting in a few places. Like I saw that part where he lifts her up in the air and throws her off the bridge. Now, if there's physics play like that, now that can be fun. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a fairly interesting game. I mean, definitely looks like it would be worth a punt. I would definitely give it that. But again, it'll be another
Absolutely.
wait and see on it. Yeah, so
Yeah, I guess I didn't really the last arcane game I played was Prey, and I tried to get myself to get to like it, but nah.
not the original Prey.
No, the remake of Prey. Well, remake or reboot, yeah.
Prey
They tried to say it was a
yeah, go on.
They tried to say it was like kind of a reimagining of the original Prey.
Yeah, now I have played the original Prey, but that was ages ago, and I never honestly kind of got why it was so like everyone was crying for a sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was fun. I definitely thought that the original Prey 2 that they were trying to make, with where you were playing either the bounty hunter or someone running from a bounty hunter.
Trying to hunt down aliens.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty damn good. But that didn't really pan out that way. And they went with the reboot strategy, and from what I heard, the reboot really wasn't too hot. So, I mean, you can probably vouch for that.
Yeah, I tried it, and it was. I tried to make myself like it, as I said, and it was a very interesting concept. I mean, you're on this space station, and it had a bit of a thriller vibe to it, psychological thriller sort of story. But it's just that the combat for me wasn't exactly like how other FPS games work.
Well, what does the combat to you in this game look like?
I'll definitely looks much more of action compared to what was in Prey. Looked a bit different.
Yeah, I do think the combat actually looks somewhat spicy. I will give it that. It looks more than
Yeah.
just your generic first-person shooter. I'm interested to see what the death loop is actually like all about here. Because the
Mm.
tagline of the game is "If at first you don't succeed, die, die again." So yes, I think it's going to be die, try, repeat, or something.
Yeah,
Or
something like that.
try, die, repeat, even. But I'm interested to see how they actually work that into the story and make that an actual thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So it looks fairly interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely give it a punt once it hits the right price. And yeah, there we go. So, Walker, next on the list is
Final Fantasy VII. Now, I'm
Oh,
not. I don't know anything about this franchise, but I know it's got a huge following,
yes.
and everybody loves it.
Yes, Final Fantasy, especially Final Fantasy VII. Um,
Yeah.
this game has been, yeah, it's been sought after for a while. I've not played the remake. Purely one of the biggest things that turns me off in new gaming is when they say that fateful word, episodic. Um,
Oh dear, yeah.
But we finally have got the part two in what I think is a trilogy, which makes sense because the original game on the PlayStation 1 was 3 discs. And I have played the
Wow.
original Final Fantasy VII, and I can honestly say it's a pretty good game. This looks also like a pretty good game. So I imagine there's plenty of fans out there that are salivating at the mouth right now.
Oh yeah.
Waiting to get their hands on this little baby here. Um, so what do you know about Final Fantasy, Walker?
Not a lot, to be honest. Obviously, it's Square Enix that makes it,
Yep.
and is it kind of like a hack and slash kind of game? I'm guessing.
The new ones have somewhat kind of gone that way, but not exactly. As you probably know, the original Final Fantasies are like a turn-based RPG.
Okay.
They have at this point, I think, thrown that out the window, and now it's like a real-time RPG, if you know what I mean. So when you go into a battle, it will put you on a battlefield or something like that. And yes, you have to kind of slash away and maneuver rather than just hit a button, wait for your turn, and repeat. Um, I mean, great.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, if they were going to remake Final Fantasy VII, I think that's the best way they should have gone. Because yes, there's been so many fan-made animations and comics and all this stuff over the years on Final Fantasy, and this is kind of what people always imagined it looking like. So they've definitely hit the nail on the head there. They seem pretty faithful to the original, which is, really a good idea. I mean, be faithful. And from what I've heard, even though it's episodic, I've not heard really anything bad about the first release. There could be something, but I've not heard it. And yes, I think everybody's looking really keen to this. I could see why they left this until the last thing to show on State of Play, because I think a lot of people lost their shit when this came on screen. So
I think that,
yeah,
yeah, I think so.
Final Fantasy doing what Final Fantasy does best. That's coming out on the 6th of the 10th, 21, or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know if
I
that's
think
an
so.
American
Yeah.
date or an English date because they're back to front and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's worldwide date, so I imagine it's probably the
Yeah.
6th of October or something, 21.
This, I think this was just showing the PS5 version, wasn't it? That's pretty
Well,
much it.
I'm
What it
not
is.
actually sure. Is it on the PlayStation 4?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah, well, if
I
it's
think
episodic, it would be a pretty scummy move to release the first episode on PlayStation 4 and be like, hey, Jimmy, guess what you got to
no.
buy? So,
No,
yeah, that would
that
be
would piss
something.
people off.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think they would do it, though, for Final Fantasy, flat out.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty much as expected. I would 100% buy the game once it's all out because I hate episode games just purely because if you really really like it and you beat it and then you get stopped because they want you to spend more money just to finish the bloody thing, then it's like it's a bit of a cock tease really. It's like you can't go too far now. So I mean, once it's all out, I can't wait to get my hands on this trilogy and give it a good old thrashing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I think Final Fantasy still being alive in this day and age and world, and the fact that they've actually managed to revitalize, because I know that the later entries in the series weren't considered masterpieces, but the fact that they've now gone back to their not roots, but they've gone back to the good old days and started capitalizing on that, I think is a really good idea. And if this pads out the way it is, what's next? I mean, will they remake the other old Final Fantasies, or will they just come out with a new release, or who knows? So,
Probably we don't know. They seem to be doing them quite a few. Well, I don't know if they didn't done them in different orders where they released. I think 13, 14. Have they done it in order or just backwards?
what do you mean? No, they
Well,
all the game releases have been numbered in order to a degree.
oh, I see. Right. Okay.
So, the only exception I can think of is apparently we didn't get Final Fantasy 3 over here or something, and that turned into Final Fantasy 6. No, not 6, 4 or so. I don't know. But again, that's way back in like the 90s with localizations and so on and forth. Because you got to think a lot of people, because Final Fantasy is kind of the game that broke the camel's back over here over people not really playing turn-based RPGs. Because yeah, back then it wasn't really, that's not really something a lot of people were too interested in. Like, of course, you had enthusiasts and people that were interested, but it's definitely picked up more traction over the years than what it would have back then. So I think Final Fantasy definitely was like the catalyst for that, and yeah, they've definitely brought the genre into the West very well. So big following. I imagine everyone's going to be talking about this game for a good little while once it releases. And yeah, like I say, it looks pretty awesome. If you love Final Fantasy, it's going to be totally up your alley. And yeah, hopefully it'll all turn out as well as it looks.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. All right then. I think we've exhausted that one now.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next topic, and that is Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yes. Oh, hang on, Walker. Maybe not yet,
Oh,
because
no.
at the end of the PlayStation 4 showcase, they did this lovely thing where they started comparing graphics between.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, of course the graphics comparison. Yeah, you could kind of tell the textures were different. I mean, I think the PS5 version was lighter than the PS4 version.
We are definitely starting to see more and more games at this point that are using the new consoles somewhat effectively. Now, don't get me wrong, games on a new console will never look as good as games at the end of a console's lifespan. Just purely because programmers have time to figure out little shortcuts and figure out how to use everything that they've got more effectively. But everything that's somewhat like shown off in this presentation here is actually looking pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you've got a high-end PC, you're already there. But at this point in time, as much as it's like the graphics doesn't really look super different, the lighting effects have definitely been upgraded, as well as the frame rates, and of course this new ray tracing technology that everyone keeps going on about.
Yeah, there's that too.
I think we are getting to that point now in gaming where things are almost starting to look a little uncanny valley realistic in some some cases, even, I guess.
Yeah, so you think you're just starting to notice the difference now between 78-year-old console to a
I
new one?
guess it's not enough to make me upgrade, if I'm honest, because games
No.
have looked great for years now.
Yeah.
But the things that interest me the most are the faster loading times, of course, because nobody likes a loading screen.
No.
That being said, I have heard this argued in some other circles, saying that it's only because these games are somewhat just upgraded PS4 games right now that they are loading so quick. And that a lot of people are reckoning that by the end of the generation, when they actually start releasing some big games that need the new systems to play them, the loading screens will probably make a return. But for the moment, they
Yeah.
seem to be moving fairly quick. It doesn't really seem like there's any delay. The frame rate's always another thing that's fucking good and all that stuff, because you want to have a good frame rate at the end of the day. I totally forgot what I
Yeah.
was going to say there, but
Definitely. Yeah.
definitely forgot what I was going to say. But no, I think that with what they've shown here and all that stuff, it's not too much of a difference, but it's definitely something that will make some people raise an eyebrow. Is it worth $600? Well, I suppose that's in the eye of the beholder, but it's definitely coming off as looking pretty damn fancy for the new generation now.
Yeah. I mean, right now we do not need to upgrade because this era is still going. I mean, we're not at the end yet. Yeah, we may be just about on the tail section, but we're not really at the end yet.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think this shortage as well has been a bit of a ploy. Of course, everyone's probably heard about the PlayStation 5 shortage. Nothing about the Xbone, funny enough. Um,
No.
but everyone seems to have heard about the PlayStation 5 shortage at this point, and I would dare say that was probably manufactured because these things are all planned miles in advance, and people crave things more when they can't get them. So I reckon that's been somewhat manufactured. I could be totally wrong. They could have just been woefully underprepared. But yeah, I don't really think that it was like, oh, we didn't know this many people want a console, or we couldn't get as many consoles out as we would like to. It's like, why? Why would you release the game console at this state if you know you can't meet demand? And secondly, especially with the Xbone, why would you release them with either very few or no games on? That just that
Yeah.
perplexes me, man.
Oh.
So
And that's why Sony is taking the lead at the moment because they have games to show.
yeah, I will give them that. They definitely have something going on and whatnot. I think every game console release, you need to have a hard hit out the bat. And I don't mean a cross platform one. You need to have something that's going to be like, wow, that looks the shit, you know.
Definitely.
And I think both consoles have kind of failed that on this generation. But I mean, what was it with the PlayStation 5? I think the biggest thing that they had was Demon Souls that a lot of people were looking at. The rest of the games didn't look
Yeah.
so hot, or you could get them on PlayStation 4, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like Spider-Man, for example, that was
Oh, yeah,
that was
Spider Man was
also.
the other one, but you can get that on PlayStation 4.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So
Uh,
it's a little
and
hard to justify dropping that much dollar when it's yeah, what you got to show for it once you've got it, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
I know it's still the early days. That's why. I really do not understand the shortages. Yeah, I think you said it might have been a publicity stunt, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, and now that the supply started picking up again, I heard Amazon's got a bunch of PlayStation 5s. Probably not anymore,
Yeah.
but they had. Um, maybe
Yeah.
we'll start seeing some proper results. And of course, once these games release, it's going to be interesting to see what people think of them, especially on the new consoles.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
No, go on.
Yes. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm very fascinated with the whole haptics feedback stuff. I'm really when eventually we do get our hands on one of these consoles, it'd be really interesting to test that feature out.
Yes, it truly will be. I'm interested to see how you're talking about the controller feedback.
Yeah, in terms of how when you play a game and how it feels, it will trigger some kind of haptic, vibration and all that.
Yes,
If you,
I'm interested to see how you can make using a controller more interactive at this point, but hey ho, I guess we're going to find out.
exactly, yeah. All right, on with the next thing.
Yes, Walker, as I rudely interrupted before, will you please give the epic introduction?
All right, Mortal Kombat, the movie. Well,
Fatality.
the next movie.
Yes,
Oh,
now, everybody's probably seen the original Mortal Kombat movies. Walker, what did you think of them?
I've only seen clips of it, but I haven't watched it all the way through. Maybe I'll watch it
Oh, you
someday.
lucky soul. I really wouldn't bother. I
I know
mean,
it's on Amazon. I
oh.
think it's on Amazon Prime for free at the moment.
Now, the original Mortal Kombat movies, I've heard a few people defend them, a few people go against them, but honest to God, man, I wouldn't waste your time. But with this new Mortal Kombat movie that's just been announced, it looks not quite as bad. It looks somewhat like
Oh no!
it's had effort put in. Um,
Oh
so,
yeah,
yeah. There you go.
it's like someone I think knows how it should be done, and of
Yes,
course it's going,
go.
and of course it's going to be R-rated.
Well, that's the first rule of Mortal Kombat. Don't make a
Uh,
Mortal Kombat movie and rate it PG
no, don't.
or
Or
12. I mean,
PG-13.
yeah. Um, for God's sake, just really go for it. Obviously, I imagine this was interference from Hollywood when they said we're going to make a Mortal Kombat movie back then. The
Mm.
one thing I can say is thank God Uwe Boll didn't get his grimy hands on it. Otherwise, God knows what we would have had.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you got that. Yes, this new movie actually looks like it's somewhat faithful to a degree to the source material. That being said, in a game that's just kind of a fighting game about a tournament deathmatch type dealio, I don't see how you can really be unfaithful, I guess, unless you do the original movie. So, yes, that's
Yeah.
interesting to see. Go
Mm.
on.
And definitely the standout in the trailer was, I think, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, seeing
Yes.
them clash together.
Yes, it definitely seems like they've come up with a heroes and villains type dealio, and you got to have the good old Sub Zero and Scorpion, which I must say he said the line, so that's
Oh
gained
yeah.
infinite more points than the originals, I guess. Um,
Visual effects look really nice.
yes, this game actually does look like it had somewhat of a budget. So, I mean,
Oh yeah.
this movie looks like it had somewhat
Yeah.
of a budget. We are talking about a
M-
video game movie now, so
Yeah.
forgive me. Um, but yes, what was the last Mortal Kombat game you actually played?
Mortal Kombat 10.
I think that was the last one I played as well, and I quite liked that game.
I did
Um,
as well. I had the XL, which was the second re-release version, which had like bonus DLC characters.
okay, well, Mortal Kombat
Uh,
now has well, as far as DLC characters go, I mean, who haven't we got these days? You've got the Terminator, I think. You've got RoboCop. Rambo just showed up. I mean, Rambo, friggin'
this,
Rambo.
and this, I think this is an 11, isn't it?
Yeah, or yeah, I think it's up to 11. But have you seen the original Rambo movie?
No.
It is the most down to earth. Like, it's not really even an action movie. It's kind of just tragic. And now he's just in Mortal Kombat. And yes, they got Sly Stallone to voice him. It's like, what? We're just gonna throw Rambo in there now, huh? The most like unfitting action movie star, I guess. Oh wow. But
Hmm.
yes, Mortal Kombat's truly gone off on the crazy rails, and they definitely seem to be branching out now, and they've clearly got money. But if this movie comes off well, I imagine it will become a franchise. We'll see. But
Oh,
from what I'm seeing
I
so
think so.
far, I think it looks like it's actually got something there. I mean, it looks like your generic good guys enter tournament to beat all the bad guys' ass up, but it looks like there's going to be plenty of blood and
Oh,
fatalities
also,
along the way.
yes, I was about to say, yeah, they're going to introduce fatalities for the first time on screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. I think it's got enough of a following to pull it off. Is it getting a theater release?
Yes,
Oh, it is. So it's actually who made it?
Warner Brothers.
Oh, Warner. Oh, they own it as well.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if this was kind of a long-term plan. Like Warner Brothers, when they acquired Mortal Kombat or something, was like, this will be a movie franchise one day. It's like we just have to bide our time. So, yeah. Fair play to them. They're going back and fixing past mistakes. Because the first movie was, I hear a lot of people say it's alright, a lot of people say it's not alright, but everybody everybody unanimously says the second movie is not so good. I mean,
Yeah, I heard that
not so
too.
good. But again, this one looks very interesting. It's clearly got love for the original source material because they're quoting lines. They all look like their characters for a change. And we're getting a bit of backstories, like how Jack lost his arms, and not Jack, Jax lost his arms, and
Yeah.
where Liu Kang came from, and all this stuff. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all pans out. I mean, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I would definitely. I'm very interested. I think I'll definitely go and see it. What about you?
I think I might. We'll have to wait and see and how all this
Should,
malarkey clears up. But
should I drag you to go and see it?
you might have to drag me to go see it. I mean, have we got a release date on it yet?
I think it's supposed to be coming out in April, but I don't know in terms of the lockdown rules. I'm not sure when cinemas will reopen. Possibly June. They might have to delay it.
Yeah, we'll see. It just go on video on demand, won't it?
Maybe, yeah. Or it might just get like a physical. Well, DVD releases when they can't come to the cinema normally
I
end up getting an early release.
I think I saw at the end of the trailer the HBO logo, so maybe it'll be on that subscription service. Who knows?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think that yeah, they either said cinema or HBO.
yeah, so this one's going to be one to watch for, I guess. Maybe we are finally getting out of the cursed age of you can't make a video game movie good. So, hopefully,
I'd be, I'd be surprised if this isn't good because it does look good.
at the very least, I think it's going to be some dumb fun. Like, leave your brain at the door, just watch a load of people hit and kill each other. So, if anything, I think it's got that.
Yeah. And I'll leave this next topic for you to lead on this one because I haven't seen it yet, and that is Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, yes. Now, I was bored earlier this week and I thought, I'll rent a movie. And the movie I chose to watch was a lovely little film called Willy's Wonderland. And Walker, I believe you've seen the trailer.
Yeah, I've seen bits of it. I saw my critic Mark Kermode kind of review on it, and I saw he showed some clips of it, and yeah, it does look quite intriguing.
And what did Mark Kermode say about it?
He said he thought he was entertained by it.
The best way I could put this movie is an episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead minus Bruce Campbell, but with a lot of Nick Cage. So it's a very different take, because when you see Nick Cage in the titles, you know you're in for a good time, good or bad. But there's a little key difference in this particular Nick Cage movie compared to the rest of his movie works. Well, two, actually, because Nick Cage doesn't really do horror. Not that I would call this a horror, but
well, we all know that he did the Wicker Man remake.
Would you call that a horror?
No, I mean I've seen the original, and
yeah, the original might be a horror, but I mean, would you call the remake of the Wicker Man a horror?
No,
I would call it a bit of a comedy.
I would cheer to not the bees.
Yeah, not the bees, but the two key differences in this movie is Nick Cage is doing a, I guess you again, it's not really a horror, but it's tried. Well, it's not really. I don't really know how to describe it, but the other key feature of this is he does not speak, which I think is a first for Nick Cage, being in a role where he does not actually talk, except for grunts and
Yeah,
moans and yelling.
yeah, that's not often a thing that a few actors have done that. I saw a movie with Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh yes.
He did a movie about this is a Viking movie, and it's called Valhalla Rising, and he didn't speak in that either.
Well, Sleepy Hollow, Christopher Walken didn't say a word except ah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, so it's not new. It's not really new ground for actors to not have a voiceless role.
no, but it is new for Nick Cage. Now, the key summary of this movie, or brief run through, is Nick Cage is hired as a cleaner at Willy's Wonderland, which is an out of work pizzeria that has animatronics on stage. Now, of course,
And
going back to the FNAF things, this is really a good time to be releasing a movie like this, and I somewhat almost get the idea. If I hadn't already seen what the director had said about it, I would almost say he kind of capitalized on that. But I don't think that was the case after seeing that. This basically Nick Cage is cleaning up, doing his thing because he wants to get his car fixed because his car gets messed up, all the tires get burst, and he's not got any money. But during the night, while he's cleaning around, he notices a few strange things happening, and then all of a sudden, animatronics are alive and trying to kill him. Now, in most movies, this would result in a thrilling, like hide and seek, chase and escape type dealio, a proper horror film. Nick Cage isn't all about that, and proceeds to become the horror to the animatronics. So
right.
basically, Nick Cage goes postal, just starts killing all of them one by one, while also simultaneously cleaning the pizzeria. So all I can say about this film is it's a fantastic little movie. It definitely has a low budget, but it uses all the resources at hand to deliver a fun time experience. Definitely, as I was saying with the Mortal Kombat movie, check your brain at the door. There are things in this thing that does not make sense, and there are some cliches, of course, thrown in the mix. But all in all, it's a friggin' hilarious movie. I would totally recommend. Um, yeah, it's great. But Walker, you've not seen this, so you know Nick Cage is killing all these animatronics. So what do you think could possibly pad out this film from longer than 20 minutes, I guess? What do you think happens in the film? What do you think would happen? Because of course you've got to have victims to kill. So just take a stab at it.
There has to be some quite gruesome deaths, I guess, in the movie.
Yes, but as far as like characters and all that stuff, what do you think actually happens in a horror movie? What do you think actually, like, because you've got to have Nick Cage isn't going to get killed. You know that from the off.
Yeah.
They have no scruples of just saying, yeah, Nick Cage is a badass. He's going to be walking out of here one way or another. But who else do you think could be on the scene that would be fodder for these evil animatronics?
I'm guessing kids
Mm.
or teenagers.
No, you hit the nail on the head right there, Walker. So
Kids.
Nick Cage is cleaning, doing his thing, which is fun enough just to watch. I could have watched an hour of that, but suddenly you have kids coming down to the pizzeria because they know that it's an evil place and they want to burn it to the ground, but they find out that Nick Cage is locked inside. So of course they stumble into the property through various means, and then the killings start. Now,
Ooh,
I gotta
right.
say, none of these animatronics, I've not really got the biggest fear of animatronics. I know some people probably do, but none of them come off as outright terrifying. They definitely have a few comedy characters sprinkled in there. Let's just say that. But yeah, they definitely try and make it come off as these things are dangerous. So it's definitely a movie that ticks all the horror cliche spots, you know. But
Yeah. Okay.
like I say, the first kill, and this isn't a secret, it's in the trailer, is where the ostrich approaches Nick Cage, and
Oh yeah, I saw a clip of that.
yeah, this is the part that just made me think it's Evil Dead, because Nick Cage is just staring it down, and he starts poking him like, trying to freak him out, kind of how Ash would. And then all of a sudden, like, the ostrich turns around and says, "I'll send you straight to hell," or something, right in a Deadite voice, and then it's on, So it definitely has vibes of Ash versus Evil Dead going in there. But again, that's just because I'm a fan. I'm sure there's plenty of other movies that use those type of filming techniques and the way they pace themselves. But all in all, this
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and spoil too much. I can honestly just say, if you get the opportunity, watch Willy's Wonderland. It's a hell of a time. Get a few beers in, sit down, have yourself a nice movie night. That's my recommendation.
All right, cool. And I think I'll probably end up picking it up when it comes to DVD. I think it's coming out in June.
Oh, I definitely will. I 100% will. It looks.
Yeah.
I think there will be a sequel, but I don't think Nick Cage is ever going to come back to this. No chance.
No, I'm guessing it's probably a one-off for him.
I heard he purely took it on to challenge himself as an actor because he is unable to speak. So, yeah, I admire the man for doing that much. And hey, any movie with Nick Cage, is going to be a good time. So I'm glad we got more of that.
Yeah, I heard it was supposed to have a theatrical release, but because of the pandemic, they decided to make it, digital only.
Yes, I think originally it was meant to come out last Halloween, and
Oh, okay.
then it just kind of turned into, no, we're going to do video on demand because of current events. So yes, I saw the director, by the way, is a sound dude from what I've seen. I've seen a few interviews with him now, and he just seems like a really classy guy. He's willing to have a joke with himself, and yeah, he's really happy that it all turned out. And apparently, this movie was made because he made his own version. Like, he did, again, like an Evil Dead thing where he filmed his own version of it in a garage, okay, with him as the janitor. And originally that was the plan, to have him as the janitor in the movie, because he wasn't going to get a big budget. And what he did is he basically sent this pilot movie out to anybody and everybody that he could hear of or know. And eventually he got a message back saying, "All right, this looks pretty interesting. Let's have a look at it." And then somebody suggested to him, and it was like, "So who do you think's going to play this role?" And he's like, "Whoever we can get." And they were like, "What about Nick Cage?" And he was like, "Yeah, good luck with that one." And that's in his own words, being like, "Good luck with that one. Good luck getting Nick Cage." And apparently, someone sent the script off to Nick Cage's agent, and he waited over the weekend, and on the Monday morning it came back, and it's just like, "Yeah, Nick will be there. He'll do it." And he was like, "Oh, okay, all right. Shit, we got Nick Cage." But every other actor in the movie is basically an unknown at this point. And
yeah,
I think it turned out really, really good for what they had. But the highlight is definitely Nick Cage.
Of course, yeah. And now, for the last topic for today is The Last of Us HBO series.
Oh, yes. Now, this is one where we flipped around here because I don't know much about this one, but I know you do. So, Walker, what's the update on The Last of Us HBO series?
Well, we have our first casting for the main characters. If you don't know, do you know much about the main characters of The Last of Us? Or
Billy Joel and Come On Eileen? Yeah, all right.
yeah, okay. So the first two actors for the main starring roles have been announced, and it's not what I expected. I was expecting Hugh Jackman or somebody to play Joel.
Hugh Jackman. Oh,
but
okay.
no. Instead, it's a guy called Pedro Pascal.
I've never heard of Pedro Pascal.
Apparently, he's in The Mandalorian.
Ah, well, that might be why I haven't heard of him then. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan anymore.
No, yeah. And for Ellie, she's been played by an actress called Bella Ramsey, who I didn't know this, but she looked familiar when I researched her, and it was in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. I'm actually surprised about Ellie's actor because didn't they base her model off of who was the one in Beyond Two Souls?
Oh, well, formerly known as Ellen Page, but now she's Elliot Page because now she's changed.
Changed.
Well, she's come up as transgender.
Oh, okay then. Well, yeah, I'm surprised they haven't
So
got her or him or whatever. I'm surprised they haven't got her on the project.
yeah,
So
well, they did base her look.
I heard she
on,
wanted to sue over that actually originally.
Yeah, but it doesn't. To be honest, if you look at the game character, it doesn't look anything like her, does it?
What, the game character in The Last of Us?
Yeah, again, if you put a side by side image of Elliot Page and Ellie, I don't really think they look alike.
Maybe.
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not 100%. I remember them talking about it, saying that because I think there was another game that I had her in, other than Beyond Two Souls. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was The Last of Us that she was like, "No, you kind of copyrighted my image here. I'm gonna stop that shit."
I'm guessing they probably did then take the look from him now.
Yeah, I'm like I say, I'm not 100% sure. It was long ago, but clearly they got over it. But I thought they would go for someone of her look at least, because yeah, no, I do think there is a little resemblance there. But there we go. I mean, I don't. Well, maybe not now. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah. So
yeah,
the actor that's playing Ellie, who was it again?
just Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. You said Game of Thrones. I'm trying to think. Which one did she
Yeah.
play? Who did she play in Game of Thrones?
She played this fierce young noblewoman, Liana Moment.
Was she a regular?
This is no, I think that she was introduced later later on in the later seasons. I think season 6.
Oh, okay, that'll be why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's a bit further. She's a British actress.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm interested to see because again, video game TV shows. Every video game that gets released, a lot of people either talk about doing a TV show or a movie, and sometimes it doesn't happen. I'm surprised this has actually got to this point where they are going to do it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Go on.
I think it's a good move that they're doing it as a series as opposed to a movie, because with a movie you've probably only got like 2 hours to come up with something that for a narrative.
Do you think it's going to have a bit of the Walking Dead vibe?
Possibly, yes, but then
Did
again,
HBO do Walking Dead?
No, that was AMC.
Oh, I'm so bad with studios.
Yeah, well, AMC. They also did Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm with you. But yes,
yeah,
it's going to be quite interesting how they actually pad this out into a series as well. I imagine it's going to be very much like Game of Thrones in the sense where every episode's going to end with a "oh my god" moment. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, how do you think they're going to tackle this? Do you think they'll maybe go into the second game and like the end of the series, like try and cover it all, or do you reckon they'll do their own type of storyline, loosely based on Last of Us?
It's hard to tell, but I mean, if they're going to do it properly, and they have to obviously cover the first game, so maybe they'll have to focus on the first series on the first game, and then maybe later on they'll introduce elements from the second game.
Yeah, I can see a lot of green screen in this series. It's going to be hard to capture the look of Fallen. Oh, where was it based again? Fallen City, Texas. All right.
Yeah, first games I think the first game's in Texas and the second is in Seattle.
Seattle. Oh my god, they should have added a Fraser Crane zombie. But yes, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. I imagine the first episode is going to open up with obviously the outbreak kicking off and the backstory for Joel, or and then they'll have the meet up and all this stuff. So I imagine they're going to go straight from the beginning, probably up to the second game, depending on if they get a second series. and we'll see how that goes. We'll see what they change along the way as well, because one thing we've learned about video game movies and TV shows is they're not very faithful. Other than having the
No.
character names and the loosely based on the story. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they change this up to make it more widespread appealing. For more widespread appeal.
I have strong faith in it because it's going to have the same who's the good guy that did the he directed the first 2 games was Neil Druckmann.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, that definitely gives me a lot more faith as well. I think it'll also be quite good for him because he can go back and say, oh, that part didn't work so well, we'll cut that, or we'll change this part, or something like that. So, who knows, dude? Maybe they'll fix the second game story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any hate towards number 2, but I think it's a very well made game, and it definitely did deserve the Game of the Year from last year.
Yeah, but how many awards did they get? That was rigged.
Well, yeah, we watched the show, so I'm guessing it 3 or 6. I think I don't know.
Yeah, the Game Awards, they won like best soundtrack, best acting, best direction. They won a lot. Like, wow. They did. So yeah, I'm always a bit cautious of these things because usually when something like that does really, really well and wins tons of awards, it I don't know, sometimes it kind of either alienates, it kind of goes for, like I say, more mass appeal, and it risks alienating the original fans. But in this day and age, especially with the way that Hollywood seems to be realizing that people like games as they are with stories and all this stuff, and that they probably want to stay somewhat faithful, they might be moving into the age now where they're starting to think, well, let's just adapt the game into a TV show and all that stuff. But also, it's going to be good because if it is a TV show, they've got time to build the characters, flush out the story, and video games are quite long. So,
yeah.
I think it's going to be better for them than if they did a theatrical release.
Yeah, a TV show would just work because they have time to develop the characters and to write the episodes, and they don't have to do everything in just one go like you do in a film. You can pad it out.
But I'm wondering now, is this actually going to be on TV, or will it be a HBO like subscription service type show? Because that's what I see them doing.
I'm trying to remember what was Game of Thrones on originally, because that was HBO.
Yes, that did get on TV. But I think a lot of people watched it on subscription services and bought the DVDs more than because it's a binge watch show. It's one you spend 10 hours watching a single season, and then as opposed to watching it every night. So I don't know.
Yeah, this might have to be something I'll probably wait for it on DVD because I wouldn't be able to get HBO. You probably need Sky for that.
Yes. And when did you say the series is starting again?
Well, I think they're going to start filming possibly this year, but we don't know. So it's supposed to be this year.
Well, if all the restrictions clear up, that'll probably be at the end of next year or something like that when they drop it. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you ever play the games or not?
I have briefly played the first and the second game. I've not sat down with them and actually gone through them. To be honest, with a game like The Last of Us, a lot of it is dedicating time to it. Because I found, obviously, as you get older and all this stuff, and you've got work and you've got these other things that you've got to do, playing a game that you could just sit down and play for like 10 minutes, and that could be anything, really. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, when I played that was a time dedication.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, once you complete a game, it's a lot different on a second playthrough because you know kind of what to expect and you don't get as hooked as much. So you can pick it up and screw about for a bit and be like, done with that, come back to it. But these days, I've gone more casual, 100%. I mean, these days when it's like, okay, do I want to play Final Fantasy, which will probably take the next 20 hours of my life? Or do I want to just sit down for an hour and play Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that? It's hard to do. You got to pick and choose these days. But The Last of Us came out when I didn't actually own a PlayStation 3. By the time I got a PlayStation 3, I had other games that were kind of higher on the priority list at that point. So
Yeah.
I will get to it. I will always get to these games, but whether it's sooner or later, that's a totally different method. I've got so many games consoles that I'm still catching up on now. I mean, funny enough, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, I actually wanted to play the original game all the way through, but again, it's a time effort, and I keep looking at it because with the Game Pass on the Xbox, it's on there. I keep looking at it, and I've installed it, and I keep hovering over it, and I'm thinking, do I want to play it now or should I play it later? I don't know. And then you just go, nah, fuck it, I'll play Worms or something, you know. it's like, nah, we'll get to that another day, but the day sometimes never comes, or it comes far off. Kind of like. But once you do get into something, it's great because you got something you can kind of channel everything into. You haven't got to think about playing a game. So I'm waiting for the day. And yeah, I will eventually get to The Last of Us. It took me ages to get to Uncharted.
Wow, yeah.
And even then, I still haven't completed Uncharted 4 at this point.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. I've done the first three. But I got to number 4 and it was like, this game's... I'm still playing it.
And it came out like 5 years ago now. I can't believe it, you know. And
I
that
think
was
a lot
kind
of... Sorry, go on.
I guess, yeah. I'm trying to think. Do you think that was kind of the pioneer of this current generation, or do you think the Last of Us 2 was the kind of the swan song? What do you think?
No, I do think Uncharted, because again, same studio, Naughty Dog, definitely pioneered like cinematic gameplay for the last year.
Oh yeah.
Because when that game dropped, everyone was like, "This game's like a fucking Indiana Jones movie." It's like, wow, it's so realistic and so. Of course, now you look at it and it's like, oh well, we've seen all that stuff before. But there was definitely a divide between not so much this generation and last generation, but the 360 and the PlayStation 2, that type of generation. There was definitely a divide. Because you could see it cross over to the 360 generation, where you would still get first-person shooters like Prey, which you could easily say, oh, that's just a HD PlayStation 2 first-person shooter. And then you got the other divide where it started creeping up, being more cinematic, stuff like that. I mean, think of it. Halo 3 was the biggest game in like 2007, I think, when it dropped. And that's just a bog standard first-person shooter. There's not really anything special about it. Like, if you think about it, don't get me wrong. I
not really,
Halo.
No.
The biggest thing that did that was the online play. So that was a revolution in itself. But then you had things like Call of Duty 4 drop, where it kind of almost changed the game a bit. And it was like, okay, now we're really kind of switching from this era of first-person shooter to the next one. And I think Uncharted definitely did that, because third-person shooters, if you go back, think of things like Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 2, or, Freedom Fighters, or so on. And all these third-person shooters that were on the old games were like twin-stick shooters almost. So the original
like
Star Wars... Destroy humans,
so.
Because it's always like the character's always facing the direction that your stick is aiming. He looks very rigid, and he's always strafing, you know? And then you go to Uncharted, where Drake's running around the joint and all this stuff and doing all these animations that makes him look like he's alive. And then it's like, oh, wow, flaming, that's such like a transition period.
Yeah.
I think this generation, I mean, where can you go at this point? We've kind of, unless they come out with a big major drop of like upgrades for the next console generation and what they can do with them, you can honestly say, except for the graphics and maybe a few other features, there's nothing you can do on this current generation that you couldn't do to some capacity on the 360. Like, don't get me wrong, I know obviously you can have more polygons and more NPCs and stuff like that on the screen, but as far as gameplay goes, I mean, GTA 5 on the 360 compared to PS4, really, there's not a hell of a lot of difference.
No, not really. I mean, apart from the first-person mode that they introduced.
Yeah, but I mean, as part for small things like that, you can still have the full GTA 5 experience on the 360. There's not really any big difference, like gameplay-wise, that's a total upgrade compared to this. And I think a lot of games have gone like that. Of course, we're starting to see some things now that are utilizing the new technology and all this stuff, but it's all little bits. So you can make a game look super realistic and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, as Reggie Fils-Aimé once said, the game is fun. If it's not fun, why bother? So
Exactly.
you could
Yeah.
have a game that looks fan smegantastic, but if you haven't like improved the gameplay or come up with new ideas, like small little things sometimes go a long way that you can do in new generations compared to old. So Red Dead again, yeah. Little
Mm.
things in Red Dead, like I'm not going to say the horse is bollocks because that was a load of bollocks right there. No, like
Yeah.
Arthur growing facial hair. That's a really cool idea, and the fact that his hair
It,
grows over time, I think that was
yeah.
cool.
That was brilliant. Yeah.
Little things like
I,
that. That's like, ooh, okay, that's a pretty nifty feature and all that stuff. And again, you could have probably done that on the older systems,
mm,
but in fact, the first hair growing mechanic I actually saw in a video game was The Sims Castaway on the PlayStation 2. But it was definitely not as smooth back then than it is now. But little things like that sometimes go a long way. But again, it doesn't really affect the gameplay so much, you know? Of course, it always works to make the
no.
people look more realistic and the physics look more realistic. It just adds to the fun of all of it. But
Yeah.
I think at this generation now, we've kind of hit a brick wall. And what
Mm.
they do to get around that wall is going to be something else. I know you're dying to speak, so I'm going to let you speak now.
Cheers. Yeah. I was just about to say, you know how in The Last of Us Part Two, they actually perfected how two characters in a game can make out. I don't. I think just to say that, yeah. But it's true, you know, because if you think of games like Mass Effect 2, when they're trying to smooch out, like they're trying to make out, it's just kind of, it doesn't match up, does it? It's just
I
it,
guess. I just think that was a strange thing to focus on, but go on.
yeah, it's very difficult for animators to animate two lips together because you know, but it seems like now that Naughty Dog have they've perfected it by well, not actually in
They had a
not in
team
game.
dedicated to it. They were like, "You're the make-out team. Make it look good." It's like, oh my
uh,
god.
they I mean they showed the in a couple of scenes in the game. It's a cinematic, but is it would you call a cinematic running in real time in game or not? Yeah, that's my question.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm guessing that if it's if you say something's like pre-rendered, then it must be in real time. If a cutscene is in the game, then it must be in real time.
Well,
Or
yeah. I mean, that's another good feature actually. That's a good point to bring up. The new console generations do because they obviously have that, it goes in their favor a lot of ways. So, for example, in a game, if you're wearing clothes that, because you've seen this in old games where you'll be wearing a completely different outfit and then it goes into the pre rendered cutscene and suddenly you're in your default outfit again. It kind of breaks the immersion a little bit.
it
So
does, yeah.
that's definitely an improvement that's come with new generations, definitely. Um, so yeah, I do think that's something that can be improved upon, especially. But then again, that's kind of already got improved. We kind of got that with this generation, I guess.
It has, yeah. Many games like if you say if you're holding like a weapon on your back or something, and that will show up in the cutscene in certain games, which is good.
Oh, dude,
That's
it's a
what I
pet
like.
peeve. It's a pet peeve when you're using a certain gun for like an entire game or something, and then every time it comes up with a cutscene, it's like, no, that's not your gun. Here's your gun. Um, but
Yeah,
I personally believe in this day and age, there's absolutely no excuse for having pre-rendered cutscenes anymore in game because we have the technology. It just screams to me, you guys couldn't do this whenever it comes up with a pre-rendered cutscenes. But thankfully, I think we've kind of outgrown that now. So
yeah, we have.
that's a definite big improvement that's happened with modern gaming. Yeah, I can totally get on board with that. So that's good.
Mm.
But yeah, like I say, I just feel like where do we go from here in the next console generation? Where are we going to be at? And I know it's very early days, and we've just entered this console generation. But I personally was surprised that the PS4 and Xbox One kind of died this soon, because like you say, it's not really over yet. They are definitely in that
No,
transition period. But
yeah, slowly getting to the transition period where there's only one or two games which won't be playable on the old system.
Yeah, so I mean, I personally, but again, it's big industry, and obviously you got millions of people involved, would have maybe left it another few years, because I don't think anyone was really complaining or begging for the next generation at this point. I think everyone was somewhat satisfied with the way games look now, and maybe leaving it a little longer to have a bigger leap in technology. Maybe that would have been the key thing, because, not being funny, we could have the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X or whatever before they released, because PC gaming, it's already there.
Yes.
So you're just getting a super high power PC, which is essentially where all the games are going now. Of course, Nintendo does its own thing. They're off doing their own thing in the corner over there. I am always a straight believer that Nintendo is not necessarily on the same level as Xbone and PS4. They just do their own thing, and it's like, if you don't like what we're doing, then up yours, you know. So that's cool. They're free to do all they want. One thing I will give Nintendo is they don't seem to focus on the graphics more than the gameplay. The other thing I will disagree with Nintendo, as like a little bonus subject here, is add voice chat, you bloody monkeys. Like, okay, I should not have to have my phone to do voice chat. Add party chat. Add a messaging system. Embrace online. It won't hurt you. You know, I mean...
Yes, you're right.
They are literally, like, so far behind in that segment. It's like the only thing that really brings the Switch down. They recently, just earlier this month, they released Super Mario 3D World again from the Switch. It's basically a port to the Switch, yeah? But they added a DLC chapter, which is great. And online play. Perfect. You've got online. You know what they did, Walker? They made it friends only. As far as I can see, they made it friends only. Yeah? So, that's just dumb to me. Like, not being funny, you don't allow voice chat in a lot of your online games as it is. The ones you do, you have to use a stupid phone app which is censored. And so even if I'm playing with someone online, I can't really communicate with them very well. We're not going to get together and start a bloody, you know, I don't know, evil freaking, you know, cult or something. You know, it's not going to happen. So why can't we just have public matchmaking? Sometimes I just want to play Mario in co-op online. You did it with Super Mario Maker. What the bloody hell are you doing with Super Mario 3D World? Nintendo.
Yeah.
For God's sake, embrace online. Have a headphone jack on your controllers. It's not hard. It's been done for 10 years. God damn it. At least 10 years. It really rubs me the wrong way, man. I mean, I am a big Nintendo fanboy. But
I know you are, yeah.
Oof. Like, just ease up, man. Give us some proper online support. There's a reason that it costs £3.50 on the Switch as opposed to £8 on everything else, because it's, well, crap. You know, you get a Switch, it's like, I'm going to play some games online. Oh, yeah, Smash it is. Or Super Mario Maker. Those are your two big choices. All the other ones are like slapped on, like, dun. Oh, it annoys me so. It annoys me so. I'm hoping they will wake up and have a revelation at one point. I swear to God, if they come out with their next console and they're like, this time, as like a brand new feature, we have online party chat. Aren't we so fucking progressive? You know, it's just like, really? Oh, okay. I mean, what was it, 2008? That they added party chat to 360, you know? And even before then, they had like private chat and you can just talk to people in games, just willy-nilly. And, you know, as far as I know, there wasn't anything that truly happened that was so egregious. So, yeah, no.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It's amazing that we live in this current age where these new consoles are moving forward so much, and yet Nintendo's kind of, again, doing their own thing. Great, the games are great, but that's just a step back. Like, wow. Oh.
So yeah, anyway, before we end this, I wanted to talk a little bit about Hitman 3 and my personal thoughts on the game, what I think of it, and I'll just briefly break down my thought on it, basically.
All right, go ahead.
Yes. So, I mean, the main problem I had with the first, well, Hitman 2016, 2, and now this one is that the fact that why only make 6 missions per game? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that does seem a little again backwards.
And the problem they seem that I think is it IO or something they seem to have with it is that they introducing microtransactions into it.
Oh well, that
Try,
seems to be the
try,
state of all games these days.
trying to persuade you to buy the missions you've already played from the previous game to transfer over to this game. I'm like, what's the point? Well, I've done it, you know.
Well, with Hitman, I will ask this. They may have only added 6 missions, but I presume, very much like the last few Hitman games, that the maps are huge.
Yeah, they're fairly big.
All
Yes.
right, okay, so it's not totally. They've obviously spent time concentrating on fleshing out the maps and making them all very detailed and very large, so you can play this.
Yeah, and I can imagine that Hitman 3 is also on PS5, and I think that they're paying attention to the details and the lightings and all that. I think it will look pretty cool on that system. I've yet to try out the VR, which I haven't yet.
Yes, I really want to try that Hitman VR. I've seen a
Yeah.
few videos and it looks pretty fun. Like I say, I really
Mm.
want a VR headset at this point. Want to give a few games a good old go.
Yeah. Yes. So I think some of my favorite this particular mission game rather the mission structures seem very similar to the previous that one Hitman 2 and the previous 2016 game. Larger mission maps. There doesn't seem to be much in terms of like the opportunities to, in order to kill your targets, because there'd be this thing where they would give you mission stories and challenges. So if you want, you can follow this mission story. You can do it if you like. Give you an opportunity to get close to your target and eliminate them, whatever means you can. But there seem to be more of them in like the first two.
So it seems to have gone more linear then.
Yeah, in terms of the not objectives, but like they'll have like as I said, story things that to add to the you know the objective.
Okay.
It does kind of feel linear, but I did quite like the one they did when they returned to in England mission
Oh yeah.
set in England. I think it's Blackmore or something like that.
Oh okay.
And it was in like this big mansion, and the bottom of this posh people, and you got to kill one target. And I think the funniest death was when I this woman you have to assassinate. There's been like a murder, and you can, if you want, you can disguise yourself as this private investigator and investigate this. Try to act as like the investigator to this crime. But you've been tasked to kill this old lady who's like this rich owner of this house, and I chose to go with the way of electrocuting her by she's ha- she wants to have like a final photo with a family, and then you can tweak it by having like this socket, make the water go into the socket, and then by the time you pose as the photographer and click the camera, she goes zaps.
Okay. So the kills are
And
still
that
as
that
wacky as ever then.
they're still as wacky. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
That was pretty funny. And there was also one during it was a vineyard, and you can assassinate somebody by in like a presser, a hydraulic press.
Oof. Oh yes, hang on. I think I've seen this. I think I saw a
Very
video
funny.
where a guy gets every NPC on the map and puts them in the
It,
hydraulic press.
uh,
Yeah, I think I've
it is
seen that.
it is quite graphic, but when it happens, I laughed. I thought it was really funny.
You're so morbid.
Yeah, I know. I think there is other ways to do that in that mission, but when you get to the final mission, it's just like there's a bit of a plot twist, and it's like, huh, what the hell? Do you mind if I if I give it away? I'm
Oh
sure everyone
no,
else has
by all
probably.
means, give it away.
I'm sure everyone else has probably played it by now. But
Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
spoiler alert. Diana betrays you. She's working for this secret government,
Oh, what
and
again?
yeah, and we thought that would be in Absolution, but
Blood money.
no, yeah, true, yeah, and and so you have to. It kind of goes back to, I don't know. Did the first game end up in Romania?
That's going back a bit. I have no idea. Can't remember.
Oh, but anyway, you end up in Romania and you're on this train and you have to try to get to the leader of this organization called Providence. But um, and so it gives you a kind of a rewarding opportunity where you don't get any. I'm trying to think of the word. No penalties. That's it. No penalties for killing anybody.
Okay, so what? You just go psycho killer.
You can if you like, yeah, and because it says if you want, you can eliminate anybody you like while on this train.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So, how long was the game then? With 6 levels.
uh, uh, probably about 8 hours, depending how much time you spend on each mission, and then if you like, you can replay each one and choose a different kind of way to kill that person.
And it's not episodic.
No.
Okay. So, out of all the 3 reboot Hitman games, which one would you say was the best?
Um, 2 was more or less. That seemed. It's a difficult one to say. I'll probably say Hitman 2016, the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you rate this one? I mean, how you think it's good?
I would say just above average. I give it a 7.
That's surprising coming from you. I thought
Oh
because you
no.
love Hitman, don't you? So,
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that you're not like wrapped up in the fanboy isms with this.
It was supposed to be kind of like a swan song for Hitman, but because they said it's the last in the Assassination trilogy, but it's a. No, I think they're going to have to probably reboot it again.
Oh
That
boy.
That's probably what they're going to do because they've wrapped this new kind of Hitman cycle, even though it is there isn't really a canon to the other games. Yeah, there are like there's like this cutscene in like the first one. It's like a montage. That's about it, really.
Okay, so it
You might
is
have seen
purely
it.
just like do missions as Hitman rather than like, oh, we need a story. We did that with Absolution, you know.
Yeah, I would say yeah, Absolution and Blood Money were my favorite ones.
Yeah, Blood Money's definitely my favorite. I think that
Mm.
one's just the one that kind of got it all right. That and also it's such
Yeah.
a goofy game, so I mean,
Mm.
it's just funny more than anything. But
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing, actually. There was another mission that I thought was pretty good. It was set in Germany in this nightclub, kind of rave kind of party, and I thought that was pretty good.
okay. I mean, you gotta
Yeah,
elaborate.
elaborate. Yeah, they didn't really give you an objective this time. You just had to sort of find your targets, but they were kind of ICA agents that were undercover looking for you because they thought you were rogue again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do they keep trusting Hitman if they keep thinking he goes rogue? Although they should
uh,
know at this point he wouldn't have gone rogue. It's like James Bond. It's like they think Bond's gone rogue after all the shit he's done for him. It's like, come on now.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a pretty cool thing you can do where you could disguise yourself as a DJ, and you can kind of rig this structure up above like the catwalk, and it's like a light kind of display, and I think when you press a button when you're pretending to DJ, it will kind of electrocute your target.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it seems pretty inventive with the kills and all that stuff. I mean, Hitman's Hitman, but so you would definitely play this game again.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give the VR a try.
Yeah, dude, I think that's where it's going to be. Why can't you? Oh, is the VR like a separate version that you got to buy?
No, it's on the game. It just means that it takes time for me to set the whole thing up, because there's so many cables.
Okay, fair enough. That's
Yeah.
another thing I will give PlayStation. Fair play to them for actually making it so you don't have to re-buy everything for the next generation, because the VR works on the PlayStation 5, doesn't it?
It does, but you have to contact Sony to get a special adapter because there's a port on the back of the system where it doesn't fit.
Okay, well that's dumb, but whatever. I mean,
But however, Sony have just said that they are working on another headset
another headset. Okay, yeah, no, I think I've
ex-
heard about this.
exclusively for PS5. So, and I've heard that it's just going to be plug in and play, just a simple plug in.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
say, they definitely are giving support to the fans for all their outdated stuff rather than just being like, well, none of it works now. Have to fork out for a new this, new that, everything. If only they could
Mm.
do it with the controllers.
I know. I really wish the new controller would work on the old system, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. I mean, the PlayStation 2 controller works on the PlayStation 1, but then again, once you go past that, it's
Mm.
not really doesn't really work that way. So, would you say it's worth the money?
Yeah, if you enjoyed the previous two Hitmans, some people say it's better than Hitman 2, according to some reviewers. Um, yeah, I'd say it's fine. Yeah, go
Ah,
for it if you enjoy Hitman.
very good. All right then. Well, I think we've exhausted all the topics we've had to talk about today. So, you want to sign us out?
Yep. So this is Walker Reviews.
And this is KrankMambo.
We are the Groovy Game Ramblers. I hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode.